All right, this is episode 30 of the On the Hunt podcast. My name is Elijah Winfrey. Joining me is Bobby Bless, Nate Rucker, and Reggie Funches. I'm so excited to have all these fellows with me today. I wish that we were just celebrating the return of Reggie Funches, but there's a lot of other things going on. First, though, I do want to get to Reggie Funches' return. So, Reggie, I'll have you unmute for me, my friend, and I want to ask you, how have you been?
Slow motion, recovered from COVID for the second time. Of course, they had some spiritual things we had to take care of. They had to take precedence. But I'm refreshed. I'm good. And healthy.
Well, hey, I am happy to hear that you are healthy, my friend. Happy to have you back as our numbers guy. And, maybe you can give us some betting lines a little later on in the show. Because, I mean, this stuff.
Oh, shit.
I had to throw it in there somewhere. Nate Rucker, how's it going, my friend?
Oh, shit. Man, I'm good. I'm so excited. Like I say, hey, think about it. Last year, Elijah, me and you, we were sitting this, we hadn't even recorded not one episode. I got approached with an offer. We talked about it. We game planned about it. And now we are 30 episodes in. Hey, that's truthfully a true milestone, not just season 1, but 30. 30 episodes is a legitimate milestone. So again, I'm good. I want to thank you, my brother. Hey, we done came a long way, a real long way.
Hey, I certainly agree. And I also want to turn it over here to another friend of ours, the #1 Lions fan, Mr. Bobby Bless. Bobby, first I want to say thank you for this sweet hat that I am wearing today because
I'm so jealous.
I wouldn't have it.
I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous right now.
Hey, I love it.
Elijah's not even a hat guy.
I'm not, but you know what? I'm suddenly starting to think that maybe I should be. But Bobby, how you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, brother. Hey, I was jealous about the hat, then I realized I got it. I got one. I'm cool. It look good on you. Look good on you, man.
Hey, listen, I need a 7 1/4. I'm jealous.
7 1/4. So I'm glad I got you. We got you. 7 1/4.
So, folks, this is going to be somewhat of a quick episode tonight, but we wanted to make sure to, pop in and give you something because next week, obviously, is the draft. That's where a lot of our focus has been the last couple of weeks is getting ready for that draft show. We'll talk a little bit more about that a little later on. But right now, we want to talk about the breaking news, and that is, unfortunately, we got some suspensions happening. What I want to do right now is I want to let Nate Rucker kind of explain what's going on, and he'll pop back in here in a second.
I'm here.
But while he does that, remember, we are on YouTube Live. So leave us a comment. Let us know your thoughts. I'll be looking over, reading those as Nate describes what's going on to you right now. Nate, go ahead.
Okay. So we have guys that have been indefinitely released. We have guys that have been suspended to a year and guys that have been suspended 6 games. The rest of these guys, to me, they truly don't matter. But there are 3 guys that are very important to our team. One guy who had just re-signed with us, a special teams ace, if people, are familiar with him, is CJ Moore. CJ Moore has been released by the team. The other guy, Quintez Cephas, wide receiver, Wisconsin, has been released from the team. And then, of course, the guy that has been drawing the most energy, the most hype, that people have been waiting, anticipating what he's going to do on the field, Jameson Williams has been suspended for 6 games. Jameson's Jameson's a little different. Jameson was suspended not because he bet on NFL games, But because he bet at a NFL facility, he did it legally through the betting app, but he was at the team's practice facility. So that comes where you talk about your NFL contract and you talk about those little bitty fine lines. So Reggie knows a lot more about that and about the details and what these guys did. Reg, go ahead and help me out and finish that up.
All right, so I'm gonna read you directly from The Athletic. This is an article written by Mike Jones. He said the suspended Detroit Lions wide receiver Quintez Cephas and defensive back CJ Moore, plus Washington Commanders defensive end Shaka Toney, they've been suspended through the conclusion of the 2023 season for betting on league games in 2022. The Lions responded by releasing Cephas and Moore. Lions wideouts Jameson Williams and Stanley Berryhill were also suspended for 6 games in 2023. What the team said were other gambling policy violations, including betting from an NFL facility on NFL games. So, like Nate just said, he was basically in the practice facility. He bet on the game while he was in the practice facility. That's the reason why Williams and Berryhill are suspended for those 6 games. So the crazy thing is, if they were actually in the parking lot, they actually wouldn't have got suspended.
That's stupid.
Which is crazy. And one thing Mike Jones brought up, which is apropos to the conversation, it's the hypocrisy of the suspensions everybody has a problem with. It said it's okay for the NFL to make billions of dollars on partnerships with legalized sports betting companies. Legal gambling was rejected by the American Gambling Association to increase the NFL's annual revenue by $2.3 billion. But players must abide by a different standard.
Hold on.
Course,
you're the numbers guy. Say that one more time with an emphasis on just how big that number is.
The NFL's annual revenue went up by $2.3 billion since gambling was legalized. That alone just shows you how prevalent gambling is in the NFL and other sports as well. But here you are holding your players to a standard where they can't make a bet on a non-NFL game in a practice facility. But if that man was sitting in his car in the parking lot, it wouldn't have been an issue. So I thought that was just insane. Now, granted, Cephas and Moore, I get it. They were actually betting. They were betting on NFL games. They were betting on NFL games inside the facility. I get it. You know, because that actually is directly tied to the integrity of the game. But Jameson Williamson and Berryhill doesn't make sense to me. Not for 6 games. If you said 2, just so he can get it, like just see how serious it is. But to cut that man, basically take 6 game checks away from him, that doesn't make sense to me.
So Reggie, I've got 3 major issues with this whole thing, and I don't know if you want me to go now or you want me to wait.
Go ahead. Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead.
So first up, I do want to say hello to comedian Shay B, who left us a comment. She said, "Hey family." So I want to say hey back to Shay, and hey, that rhymed. That's pretty cool. But anyway, Shay, hey to you, and hey everyone else that's watching right now. Leave us a comment, like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button for us. So here's the deal. Here are my 3 issues with it. My first issue is the timing of this news drop. Okay, now we've talked a little bit about this in the past about how sometimes news comes out and you got to kind of look at when it comes out and you go, that's kind of interesting. So this morning, I'm at the radio station, I'm doing my radio show, and I see an article come out at 6:46 this morning from Pride of Detroit. And Pride of Detroit's article is talking about the Lions-Panthers game from last season, talking about how the NFL knew that the conditions of their field prior to the game were not in their own standards of being a playable field. Now, I know if you look back a few episodes ago, I kind of made fun of that whole situation, talking about, hey, that's an excuse as to why we lost that game. But what I'm talking about here is the fact that the NFL Players Union is looking at going after the NFL for having the Panthers and the Lions players play on that field when they knew damn well that it was not a situation that those players should be on the field. Now, that article comes out at 6:46 this morning. And then after that article came out and kind of hit the news circuit a little bit, all of a sudden at 11:29 a.m., here comes this article talking about how, Lions players are suspended because of gambling issues. So the timing of that to me is a little interesting, to say the least. Now, I'm not here to try to start a conspiracy, but I am saying that's not a huge leap. That to me is kind of interesting. Plus, it wasn't just Lions players who were involved in this, but it seems like that's the only team people want to talk about, which is a blessing and a curse, because on the one hand, they're talking about us. On the other hand, hey, what about the Commanders player who was also involved in this stuff?
Well, they're gonna first of all they're gonna say is, who the hell is Tony?
Right.
I want to know who the hell is this Hayberry, whoever the hell that is.
Gary Hill.
So-
Gary Hill.
Now,
He
here's
said,
the deal.
"Hey, Barry."
But here's the deal. So that I found interesting, the timing of this. I
right.
also want to put this out there to Lions fans, and this is just me being nervous. I don't know if it's anything for us to be actually nervous about, but I did see a photo today of Tracy Walker and Kirby Joseph riding in a car together, saying they were celebrating in Vegas. Now, I have no reason to believe that Kirby or Tracy are doing anything they're not supposed to be doing. Okay, so I'm not trying to accuse them of anything. But I will say it would break my heart if we hear something about them, because they are in Vegas, which is the gambling capital of the world.
They
So-
better stay in the parking lot.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So, but here's the other thing, okay? So outside of timing, my other issue with this is this whole thing about integrity of the league. Now, I've been talking about this for the last, 3 or 4 years. The NFL is a hypocrite because they hide behind their own shield and say integrity of the game is what matters the most to them. When in reality, this is the same league who uses independent contractors as their referees. They're one of the only professional leagues to do that, where they have people out there who are lawyers, who are accountants, some of them are doctors, and this is a way for them to make extra money for their families. This is not their main gig, being an NFL referee. If you really cared about integrity of the game, you would have officials who that is their only job in their entire life. Off season, regular season, doesn't matter. All they are officials. So until the NFL does that, in my mind, integrity of the game is just a bunch of bullshit. Because we all know what they really want. When a referee blows a call in a game, they get so much free publicity from guys like me, from guys like the other 3 gentlemen on the screen, from talking about them for that entire next week. So they really don't care about integrity of the game. Don't let them fool you when they say that. Plus, integrity of the game, wouldn't that mean making sure your players are safe from playing on a field they're not supposed to play on?
Right. Granted, it did have nails, spikes, and firewood coming out of it.
Yeah. and again, if we were talking about, hey, that's why we lost the game, I would say, okay,
Right.
that's a little bit of an excuse. But to me, when the NFL Players Union says, you know what, it's serious enough for us to lodge a complaint,
Agreed.
then that's kind of interesting. And again, for them to do that at 6:46 this morning, and then at 11:29 for Detroit Free Press to come out and say, hey, players are suspended, that to me is just kind of interesting. And the last thing that I'll say about this, and then I'll turn it over to the other guys here. This is cause for concern for me when it comes to Jameson Williams. Now, Jameson Williams did not bet on NFL games, and I cannot try to make that any more clear. I'm sure every single one of these guys will try to make that apparent to you, and I guarantee you, even though we do that, there will still be some idiot out there acting like it was Jameson betting on NFL games, because people do that.
Actually, they're not even going to care. He just shouldn't be betting at all. He plays in the NFL. He's got enough money. Blah 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 blah. He's still human.
I've already heard somebody say, and this is why he was at the Coney Island at 1:45 in the morning. I said, what does that got to do with it?
Yeah, well, and also, if you have that much time in your hands to know what a player is doing at 1:45 in the morning, maybe get a life. I'm just saying. But hey, as far as Jameson Williams though is concerned, by the time he finally plays this upcoming season, and provided that he plays every game outside of his suspended 6 games, that means that he would have played 18 games out of his first 34. Now, a lot of that is not his fault because of the torn ACL. But if you're looking at this, then you're kind of going, wait a minute, by the time he finally starts playing for us, the conversation is going to be about a brand new contract. Because you're looking at year 3.
True.
So
I can't stand you, Elijah.
So for me, I'm looking at this going, do we know what we're going to have in him by that time?
Nope.
So that's what I got for you. My thing again, the timing of this coming out, the whole integrity of the game BS that the NFL is going to try to do, and then the concern about Jameson Williams saying, wait a minute now, your best ability is your availability, and you only played 18 out of your first 34 games. Help yourself get paid by being there and being available. Bobby, I'm going to turn it over to you. Your thoughts on all this?
A couple thoughts. I'm actually disappointed in all the players, man. I hate to even sound like the tough guy in the room. Not knowing is no excuse. I don't go for that. Like Nate said, it be in that little bit of right on the con. You got to read that shit too. I hate to agree with you about the Jameson Williams thing. I agree with that. But my question is it is it something that can be reduced? How much is of a chance you got to reduce? Because like my brother Reggie said, he 2 games seem, even 3 games, if they can cut that in half, that'll make me feel that much better about it. But I don't, with this gambling and stuff, I don't like it is real confusing. But you the $1 million enterprise, you the enterprise, if they all treat themselves like a business, not knowing is no excuse. And, I feel like, I don't want to fit. I feel like it's a youngster and they make mistakes, you know what I mean? So I definitely don't want to hold it against him like it's a character issue type thing. Cause I don't think that's what it is. I think it was more so of not knowing the rules so much, like Nate say. But that's part of being professional, knowing in any business, not just football. You got to know all the rules, even the little ones written in the back, back paper. So I feel like they can definitely grow for this, but I also feel like we need to draft a damn receiver in the draft too, because if we're gonna be going the places we need to go, we need to start the season with the ground running. And I don't want to be lacking a weapon. So
right, because we've already lived that story. I mean, last season, the first 6 weeks of the season, we didn't have our full offense, and we saw what happened out there. So I completely agree with that. As far as the reducing of the games, I don't know, and maybe Reggie and Nate can chime in on this. I don't know if that number will go down at all because he's already admitted through his agency that he did it. In the statement that they released to the media, they already said, yeah, no, he takes responsibility for what he did. Whereas if they didn't put that out there, maybe he could have fought it. But again, I do feel bad because people are going to be ignorant and talk about character flaws when in reality, legally speaking, he did nothing wrong.
He's just a youngster. He's just a youngster. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm just concerned that he's losing himself money by not being out there and giving him as many opportunities for himself to show the Lions why they need to sign him to a second contract after this first one. But Reggie, what do you think, my friend?
I'm looking in. I'm just doing a little bit of research. They said essentially since 2010, on Goodell's watch, 2 indefinite suspensions have been overruled. A pair of 1-game bans have been eliminated. 2 multi-game suspensions have been reduced. And all the players disciplined in the Bounty Gate scandal were able to overturn their suspensions. So those are kind of like the ones that
Precedents.
yeah, the precedent. Now the issue is, and I think this is the issue that's going to face that James is going to face. I was reading an article where it said that there's no way he did not know. Because they continuously, they said from the time he's drafted as a rookie to every time that they speak to like representatives for the team, representatives for the NFL, the Players Association, this information is passed along multiple different times. So
yeah, and I bet it's like all kind of flyers and reading on the walls.
So how did like that? And if he did not know, willful ignorance is not enough.
No, exactly. Not knowing is never an excuse.
Now we can gripe about the length of it because it's like, man, that's kind of a lot for what's being described. But if you're saying if you bet on NFL games, you get a year. Not betting on the NFL game gets you 6 kind of makes sense if you think about the level of severity.
But you also have to look at it now. This isn't a punishment coming from the league. This is coming from the Lions itself. It's the same way we're in college where you have these infractions. So in order for us not to get double penalized, we have to come up with a disciplinary action that satisfies the league. So that's what it's about. It's about
this is an NFL suspension.
Is it NFL?
Yeah, it's NFL.
Yeah. Because the Lions, I see that where they immediately released them. They released the 2.
That was their response to the suspension.
So
basically the NFL was like, look, these dudes get suspended. And when they said why, basically he was like, oh no, we can't have that because what CJ Moore did was just dumb. Because we already clearly know, basically after what Calvin Ridley did and what already happened in the past, you're like, come on, bro, you already know you ain't supposed to be doing this. Now, with Jameson and all them, that's kind of a little different because you like they didn't bet on NFL games, and the most that they could say is okay, they did it at the facility. If they didn't do it at the facility, he had 0 games. So it's kind of that's why I say that's
but they need an example set. They need a martyr to set that example.
Hey, Bobby, that's a dog ass t-shirt, my man.
Oh, you like it? Yeah, we're gonna give away one on during the draft.
Hey, listen, put that in the screen. Put that in the screen one time. Let them see one time. Put that one on. Yeah.
So Bobby, you have to talk in order for you to be shown on the screen, my friend.
Oh, this is the nice shirt design we came up with for the new logo. So I figure we throw this on the t-shirt. On the hot top. Got the microphone there looking pretty good, and we're gonna give away one right here. Already backed up, ready to go during the draft.
Let them know. So, hey, we got to keep reminding people that we are official. A lot of people, no discredit to Woodward Sports. They may have the big names, but let's be honest, we the shit. We just gonna keep it real. We the shit.
Well, hey, while we're on the subject of the draft,
if they keep taking our material, we're gonna start pursuing legal
copyright infringement.
we got lawyers.
Look, copyright infringement, dog.
It reminds me of that scene in Anchorman where all of a sudden you have all the different news teams come out and they start fighting like that. It's going to be all the different Detroit Lions podcasts all fighting in the backyard of Ford Field. But anyway,
they don't want no.
I don't know.
They don't want all that. Anyway,
public TV was the best game. That was the best game. The public channel.
I don't know. It's going to take a lot. Hey, look, it's going to take a lot to take down me and Reg.
That's the other thing. They stay strapped, so it's really bad.
So So real quick, funny story, and then I got to get into talking about our draft live stream. So Nate was posting, and I think Nate's okay with me talking about this, but Nate was posting a few months ago a weapon that he protects his family with. And so he posted it because it was a new one that he had gotten. And so I went on there being the smart ass that I am, and I posted a Nerf gun and I said mine's better. But anyway, so let's talk about the live stream because we got a lot going on. 7:30 on Thursday. We're going to be going YouTube live, just like you're watching us right now. And we're going to be doing basically the entire first round of the draft. We're going to be your companions for that. Nate's taking off his clothes. I don't know what's going on. You probably can't see that, but
Pretty sure he showed a nipple.
My bad.
We're gonna try to keep it rated PG, but no promises. But we have got a bunch of stuff we're giving away, and that's what we want to tell you about. So we're going to be giving away an On the Hot podcast shirt. We're going to be giving away an Apple Series 3 watch. We're going to be giving away money. That's right. We tried to give away Nate's car. He wasn't having it. So as a replacement, we're going to be giving away a Lions jersey sponsored by Reggie Funches. And how that's going to work is it's going to be the jersey of the first player we draft in the first round. So more details on that coming up closer to the draft. But again, that's like 6 different giveaways that we're doing on draft night. So while you could watch Mel Kiper and all them talk about all the different stuff that they're going to talk about, I would encourage you to watch our show instead, because you're going to actually win some stuff. You've never seen Mel Kiper give out a t-shirt during the draft. We will. Or
except for maybe, I think he sponsored a hair plug commercial one time.
I was literally about to say he was about to give away a hair piece. You took the
he had to, he had to sponsor a hair plug somewhere.
Hey, who was that GM that was like, who's Mel Kiper? Fuck Mel Kiper. We don't make no picks.
It was the old Colts GM. Old Colts GM did that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what the funny thing is?
Again,
I want to know what his percentage is.
It's not very high. I think our percentage. I think our percentage is a little better.
So again, we've got like 6 different giveaways going on draft night, and we hope that you'll tune in with us. We're going to have a good time with you, and we'll also be doing mock drafts. We don't want to do a mock draft on the back end of this episode just because we want to have a little bit more time to think about things. But I do want to go around the room here, fellas, and ask you, with the development of what has happened today, does that change your mind at all about what we might do? Pick 6, pick 18. Give me your thoughts. We're going to start off with Bobby Bless.
I already kind of alluded to it earlier, my man. I think we need that 18th pick to be for a receiver. The TCU kid, we talked about him. I was kind of liking what I seen because how he did that one team. But
here you go.
Be all the way. But no, I just to be all the way 100. I like him. I think he cool, but now I feel like we need a playmaker on both sides of the ball. I think we good at running back. If I had to pick where I'm gonna add the offensive playmaker to, the receiver or the receiving room or the running back room, with this case with Jameson Williams, this is definitely the receiving room now. Like Elijah said, we don't know what we're gonna get from Jameson Williams. We like I remember my brother Nate said, for all we know right now, the man only can run one route. So it's still a lot of stuff out there with him.
It is.
And yeah, so it's a lot of question marks out there. So
I will say
question marks that we need to feel. We need to make sure we got an insurance that we need another guy because St. Brown can't do it by himself. And Marvin Jones, nothing against him, he on the back end. So what you was about to say, Big Dog?
I just want to give him a little bit of a defense because Honor Rod did just speak he just spoke on Jameson Williams, and he said the kid was really good when they worked out together a couple of weeks ago. So so the expectations are still high. It's just right now we're still going to be in the midst of his rookie season, 6 games into the second season. So it's one of the things where if it comes down to whether we're going to draft a wide receiver, it doesn't necessarily have to happen at 18.
Sure.
There's actually quite a few wide receivers that are out here.
Yes, it really is.
Have, you had a chance to say go Carter. If Bijan is there, go Bijan. And then if you want to come back and get a wide receiver at the back end, he has, basically he has the flexibility to do so right now.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, and Bijan, he half receiver too, so I definitely would be all right with that.
Yeah.
Good point, Reg.
Nate, what do you think?
We're not gonna the wide receivers is not hit with a lot of star power on our front end anyway. You've got possibly 2 wide receivers that go first round. After that is pretty much, who's who. So I wouldn't be pressed because even outside of what Quentin Johnston did at TCU, there's another big kid out there that was top 5 in contested catches. He's a Demon Deacon. A.T. Perry was that guy. So that you don't have to necessarily jump up because Jameson isn't going to be available the first 6 games. We can still stay the course. I don't think it truly, when you think about it, if it was Amon-Ra, I could say okay. But I don't think Jameson missing 6 games impacts our draft philosophy that much. You can still, what we're building here is far more important than 6 games. As we showed last year, 6 games doesn't define our season. Yes, he is a truly dynamic guy, but like Bobby said, last year, the only thing we truly know is right now is that he's fast as shit. That's all we know.
Yeah.
We don't know, how he is, when he's on the game plan, when he's in that, when he's a focal point. We don't know that yet. He's still young. We can still do so I don't think that it's going to truly make a difference the way that a lot of people may think. Oh my God, we got to draft Jordan Addison. We got to draft Quentin Johnston now. Wait, what? Dude, how long did it take for Jameson to even play last year? He had what, 1 touchdown last year?
Yeah, he had 1 touchdown. He had a couple catches.
He had 1 touchdown. He had 1 end around and 3 catches total.
It was an old noodle arm.
True. Noodle. Hey, don't get Bobby going because we don't leave Bobby alone.
So Nate, a few more thoughts, and I don't know if you would agree with this or not. So I think if you're going to look at the Lions draft strategy, I don't think this forces us to draft a wide receiver in the first round. I would agree with you on that. However, where I would say that it might change things a little bit is in conversations that we've had on this show the last couple weeks. Because we've talked about the culture in Detroit. We've talked about having that leadership in the locker room to be able to draft players who maybe have had missteps in their college career, like a Jalen Carter, for example.
I thought about that.
We talked about bringing those guys in, and do we have the infrastructure to take care of those type of guys? And I guess for me, I never once questioned that until this morning when this came out about the gambling, because it wasn't just players. Now, this part here hasn't been talked about a ton. Yeah. There was actually Lions staffers who were dismissed a month ago, which is even more of a reason why I'm wondering about the timing, because obviously this happened a month ago. Now we're just now hearing about it after the NFL union has come up against the NFL and said, hey, what about these field conditions? So I'm going to leave that right there and let it kind of sit in the air for a moment. But as far as drafting a Jalen Carter, it might make Brad Holmes think about it for just a minute and go, well,
I doubt it.
I thought we had the infrastructure, but now here we have our first round pick out there getting in trouble.
So let's take Jameson out. What receivers do we have? I'm just trying to.
You got okay, so you have Amon Ra, you have Khalif Raymond, you have Josh Reynolds still, you have Marvin Jones. So like you have enough to do whatever, to where your game plan doesn't change. That's what I'm saying. Like it's not like we're a pass first team anyway. We're not the Rams of Kurt Warner and Torrey Holt and all these guys. We're not a pass first team. We're still going to lean on our running
you
game.
loading the box. You loading the box though. You the defensive coordinator. Ain't you loading the box on that?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Even you still have a guy. You still have DeAndre Swift, who's dangerous out the backfield. The Lions still kill people with screens. Here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. It has nothing to do with Jameson. Jameson is just the cherry that on the top of everything. The biggest loss now is going to be DJ Chark.
Yeah.
By Chark being gone, being 6'2", running that 4.3, that was your field stretcher with Amon Ra running underneath and Josh Reynolds and Khalif Raymond until you got Jameson back. But again, even when you got him back, we can't sit here and act like DJ Chark and Jameson Williams was truly like playing 50% of their snaps.
Irreplaceable, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I got you, Coach.
Right. It didn't have nothing to do with our offense. Our offense is not predicated around the wide receiver. Around one, yes, Amon Ra St. Brown. That's where it is. But in that, Jared Goff has shown the ability to spread the ball around, whether it's Shane Zylstra or his brother, or John, what is his name? Miss Kennedy. You got him, Tom Kennedy. So there's multiple people, and then you got your safety blanket and Marvin Jones. So I don't think it's that imperative like that. Reg, what you got, man?
So you hit the nail on the head. I think Shark's loss makes this worse. And my biggest thing of would somebody else be able to step up as a field stretcher? I'm thinking like Khalif Raymond. Is it possible that he takes another step in his development?
I like Josh Reynolds. He do the stretches more than Khalif.
And is what the thing about it is, there's nobody that's a definitive field stretcher.
Right.
The whole wide receiver crew. It was supposed to be Jameson. Mm-hmm. So right now, I'm thinking, it's not something that you gotta mess up your game plan as far as your draft, but it is something that you want to address in the draft.
Because we're lacking speed at that position, right? Because I like St. Brown.
Absolutely lacking speed. I don't. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Yeah.
You got a question?
Yeah, let me pop in real quick. We got some comments who keep coming in, which is fantastic. Want to say Robert Means, you know him as Bobby Bless. He says, "Hey, we live." H Block Mo says no wide receivers until second round or later. And Jason Frick said, "Afternoon, my friends. Finally got the YouTube back. Hey, we're glad that you joined us. Real quick plug, 7:30 Thursday. That is when we are going to be going YouTube live again. And we hope that you'll join us. We got 6 different giveaways that we're doing. We're going to be giving away almost everything. So make sure you tune into that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button too. Hit that subscribe button. That way,
he's so damn crazy.
Hit that subscribe button that way. So, hey, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you are notified when we go live, because it can be a little hairy on us trying to share it after we go live. So hit that subscribe button. That way you'll know exactly when we are going live. Fellas, I'm going to go back to the freezer section, and I'm going to pull out an ice cold take. All right. Now, I need your help on this. I need your help on this because I was not a Lions fan when this happened. As everybody knows, I became a Lions fan in 2007. So I'm going to go back to 2003. There was a wide receiver on the Lions named Charles Rogers. He played 5 games in his rookie season. He never really played a full season of football for the Lions. Here's my question, and maybe you can help people feel a little better about Jameson. A, are the situations at all similar as far as not being on the field all the time for the team? And B, what would you say to folks who will jump to that? Because you know us Lions fans, we all have PTSD and we always go back to random things from our history. For Lions fans who are saying, oh no, this is Charles Rogers all over again, what would you say to them to kind of quell their fears? We'll start with Reggie.
I will ask this question. Is Jameson Williams a weed head? Is he a pill head? Does he have does he have an injury that leads to a chronic issue, which leads to drug abuse?
It would have been better if you started with that.
If the answer is no, then why would you leap to that conclusion? If you know the story of Charles Rogers, it goes way beyond what Jameson Williams has even thought about facing. Okay, what Rogers went through led to his death. Let's just take it to that point. All right.
Yeah.
So let's not even bring
the big guy getting riled up.
Hey,
look, he put an emphasis on certain words that he getting riled up.
Yeah,
And again, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying.
I'm not saying that you did. I'm just saying in general. I'm just saying in general. If anybody wants to take that route, take a step back,
right,
do some research, and understand what happened with that kid.
Mm-hmm.
And do not try to compare that to Jameson Williams, because that is not where he's at right now. Okay,
right.
Exactly.
Nate, go ahead.
No, I mean it's just cut and dry. No, this is not a Charles Rogers situation. This is not a Titus Young situation. It's nothing of the sort where you dealt with one who had mental illness issues and one who had a issue where an injury totally derailed his career and he ended up getting hooked on something that subsequently took his life. Or forced, so it's not the same. What we're talking about a young man, regardless of what his financial stability is. You're talking about an era where certain things are legal. Regardless how much money it's one of those, it's just something to do. It's one of those spur of the moment type things. And he may, not thinking where he was, not remembering, the bylaws of his contract. And he made a mistake. And once, the thing I do like about him, his PR is that once it was announced, you didn't have to wait 24 hours for a statement to come from him. It was instantly like, hey, I just want you guys to know that, hey, that has nothing to do with my commitment to my team, to my teammates, or to the fans. This guy was in the voluntary, workouts. He's doing everything that he was supposed to do. So again, for anyone that feels this is the same old Lions or things of that nature, there's nothing of the same because we've never truly had anything to do with that. And so what I do like is that the culture, Brad Holmes and them are not playing. Hey, CJ Moore, we really, really like you. We just signed you to a new contract, but you got to go. Quintez Cephas, hey, you had a lot of shit to prove. We brought you back. Guess what? You got to go. Jameson Williams, yours wasn't nowhere near as bad. It was still some irresponsibility that you're going to have to own up to, which you have. So guess what? We'll deal with it. It's not Henry Ruggs. You ain't out here speeding, killing some goddamn body. So right. I want people to really realize that, hey, this was a kid who, like I say, he could have been walking out the door. We don't know. He could have been on a damn toilet on his way to the car.
Wait, hold up. He's on the toilet on the way to the car. Do they sell those type of toilets?
You know what, Nate? I sat up here about it. I sat up here, thought about it. The
I've
other
done it.
aspect of this that nobody's really kind of talking about. When you go to make a bet on a game, let's just
The
say it's
loca-
a basketball
Yeah.
game or something like that. If I'm about to go to practice, I got to get my bet in before I go to the game.
Yeah,
It was one of the things where he like, well, let me submit this real quick before I go. He might have
yeah,
been already
exactly. That's what I'm saying. It could have been.
He could have been
You know,
preset
it
outside.
didn't give us a timestamp. He could have been on the toilet, getting ready to leave, but the bet had to be in, whatever, and he's not thinking. True enough.
And that's what I'm saying. Or, he thought he saw a loophole in what the direction is. He said, "Oh, I could do this on my way doing this," and I didn't. So with him, it's more so about, all right, man, you're gonna have to be a little bit more mature. Don't try to pencil whip something like that. Don't put your career at risk for something that's gonna make you pennies in comparison to what your career can make you. Okay, let's not do that. And I think, and this is why I'm happy that it's happening now and not when his impact could actually be felt throughout the team because of his play. Because we haven't had that yet. This is happening at a time before he's even really gotten onto the field and done anything. Okay.
Right.
Let it happen now. Let him get his lumps now. Get that maturity built up, and then we'll go on from there. Because he see what can happen. Two dudes that was in his wide receiver room, or one dude that was in his wide receiver room, or the other dude was on his team. They really just ended their careers.
Bobby, your thoughts, just to wrap up the Charles Rogers kind of comparison, your thoughts on that?
I'm not going to really speak on the Charles Rogers part. I think us as brothers all collectively feel the same. So I'm going to just let that, what y'all say, good enough for me. Now, as far as Jameson Williams, he got treated, they got these players in the NFL, NBA, this gambling is a new entity. So they got to treat it as serious as it is. Like, if you can't bring no gun to the facility, don't bring your bets to the facility. You got to treat it on that same level because you're going to get stroked, if not the same or more. So you'll have to treat like betting on there like a gun. So if you at work or even in that parking lot Reggie talking about, leave that shit alone for the day.
Madison.
Ain't nobody trying to stop you from being able to bet on. Just don't even bring that shit to work. Leave that mindset for outside the building, even if it's February or if it's in December. It don't even really matter. You know what I mean? I feel like they should, even if they didn't know the rules, that's just, not knowing there's no excuse. So I don't feel bad on that part. But now that Elijah, you was telling me that the staffers got in trouble previously, that means they already knew this shit was about to happen. So that's probably why his agent already had something hot and ready because they had days to prepare for this. This ain't no news.
And again, for me, it's all about the timing of this. That's what I find to be so interesting. Like, it's happening right before the draft. It's happening right as the players union, the players union's going up against the NFL for the field conditions against the Panthers last year. It's really interesting to me how this whole thing came together. And again, Lions, obviously, I would like to believe Lions knew this was coming down the pipeline. So we'll see what all happens. But again, I just want to remind everybody, we do have a stream coming up here on Thursday at 7:30. We're seeing a bunch of comments, by the way, in the comment section of our YouTube live right now. But 7:30 next Thursday, that's going to be our draft show. So we hope you'll tune in then. Remember to subscribe. That way you'll get a notification when we go live. And that way you're not trying to figure out where exactly the link is. We also have a Facebook event on our On the Hunt Facebook page. You can, kind of RSVP there, and then you'll get the link to be able to, hop in here as well. But it'll be the longest episode we've ever done. And we hope that you'll be there with us. So,
man,
before we get to closing remarks, let's go through this comment section here. So comedian Shay B really likes the hat I'm wearing. She says, I want that hat, Elijah, in the giveaway. Well, I'm sorry, that's just not gonna happen. This is my but
I ain't giving mine up. I ain't giving mine up either.
Jason Frick said, took the words out of my mouth. He said Rodgers, both Williams, all bust. I believe he's talking about former Lions players there,
Yep.
guys. H. Block Mo says Rodgers had a Hall of Fame first game. He certainly did. I do remember seeing throwback clips of that. Jason Frick said his suspension will be reduced, and I think that's what we're all hoping for.
I agree.
So
I agree, Jay.
as we go to closing remarks here, let's start with Reggie. Reggie, man, we have missed you on this show. We are so freaking glad you're back, my brother. So close us out here with your remarks, and then I'll have you pass to Nate, Nate pass to Bobby, Bobby pass to me. Reggie, you're first.
That's a hockey assist.
I'm just really excited, man. Like, even despite what's happening, with our team, this is happening at a point where, it's not impacting play on the field. And the fact that we just found out the staffers did it, and then we got, players doing it. The fact that there was so many Lions is the part that was probably the most disturbing to me. But the fact that it's happening season and they can address it, let's get it done now. Let's get it out the way so we can actually hit the field, actually win some games, and actually make the noise and the hype and justify the hype that people have for the team right now, because the hype is real. The hype is real. I want to say Taylor Decker made a statement where he said, he doesn't want us to fall into that trap as players. And I said, cool, I get that. Y'all can stay grounded and attack it that way. But as a fan, I want them to justify everything that everybody's speaking to about winning the North, getting to the playoffs and being that dangerous team that people thought that we would be if we made it this year. So right now, I'm just excited. Let's get to this draft. I'm ready to enjoy that as well. Be with you brothers, for an extended period of time, and then hopefully everybody will join us and enjoy it with us.
Nate, you're up.
Man,
I caught him mid-drink.
Yeah. He trying to wash down whatever he's snatching.
Delicious.
I look at it like this. The league is scared of the Lions. We have always, for the last 50 years, the Lions have been the doormat of the NFL.
Sports.
I mean, we have been the doormat. I mean, since all the way back to Barry. Even before then, like we said, we won our first championship in 1938. So we have always been the doormat. And like you say, the fact that they put an emphasis on Lions players tells me just how what Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell is doing is just how impactful it is. Like you say, the hype is there. They telling you guys, listen, these are not, for people that keep saying same old Lions, this is not the same old Lions team. This is a totally different set of circumstances, and like I say, even with the staffers, it came out a month ago, but these guys are no longer on the team. It's not like they're still here. The minute these guys got these names and reports, it was executed expeditiously, meaning you getting the fuck on. And that's your fault. You get the fuck on. And the team is still going to move forward. So when Jameson comes back after his 6 games, which is the only one, he's not the only one. CJ Moore is going to hurt on the special teams. If people aren't familiar with him,
he was the face. He did all the fakes.
Yeah, he did all the fakes on the special teams. He had a 40-yard run, on the special teams. So they're going to have to find somebody to fill that. But Jameson is the one that hurts. But again, like Bobby said, we truly don't know what Jameson is yet. So is it truly hurting us? Or is it just hurting the hype?
It's hurting the hype.
But again, we're banking on the hype. We ain't even banking on production.
Yep.
So things can still move forward. So Well, if you guys are trusting in Dan Campbell, you're trusting in Brad Holmes, you're trusting in Aaron Glenn, then continue to trust him. You know, they're not sitting here. This ain't the Jim Schwartz wearing Lions where we were number one in personal fouls and all that type of shit. Like, that's not the case. This ain't Charles Rogers. This ain't Titus Young, who ironically is still locked up in the California penitentiary. Like, this isn't that.
Goon Squad.
This is not that, man. So just continue, don't lose faith in our team. This is not the same on Lions. And let's do this. That's all. Bobby.
Yeah, man. Like I was telling you guys in our little chat we had before we even started, man, I had an irritating ass day at work. But just to be able to talk about football and something pop up, got my mind off that silly stuff. But as far as kind of what you said, Nate, I'm glad I only really cared about one player, and it was only 6 games. The rest of the dudes I don't really know about like that. And I'm just glad. I just knock on wood. I just hope this is it for this stupid shit for the rest of the damn summer, because I don't want no more of it. I don't like it. I think we're heading in a good direction. I don't want no more dumb stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's pretty much it. And I can't wait till next week before we can have this live show, and then we can really talk in this comment section. So y'all make sure y'all show up. Make sure y'all show up. And Elijah, set us up for the ending, brother.
Yes, and hey, I just want to let you know.
Hey, not Patricia.
Not Patricia.
Yeah, so
now Patricia's in the building.
I was looking it up, and I do believe that Titus Young had a pretty great season last year for Meme Machine. He had like 42 touchdowns and 2,000 yards from
not Meme Machine.
Moving on. Meme Machine. Meme Machine. Anyway, hey,
stop, Elijah.
So we do have that Facebook live stream coming up, or not Facebook live stream, YouTube live stream coming up. Thursday, 7:30. Make sure you're there. We're gonna have like 6 different giveaways. We're giving away money. We're giving away merchandise. We're giving away jerseys. We're giving away Apple Watches. Like, tune in. We're gonna give you everything she's got, Captain. Okay, so tune in, and we're gonna have a great time. That'll be the longest episode we've ever done. And Nate, you wanted to pop in real quick?
Also, for people that want to be, in that first prize. Remember, y'all, we're giving away the Apple Watch. That's the first thing. The first thing we're giving away is that Apple Watch. That is our mock draft. So again, there is a mock draft thread inside.
You got the cellophane on there too.
Okay,
look. Cellophane on there. We still cellophane on there.
We ain't playing with y'all. So inside our Facebook group, there is a mock draft thread. So you guys, if you are not a part of our Facebook group, put the comment at the bottom. Make sure that you put your name so that you can be added. And remember, if you put a question on here, we will respond. We want you to be a part of this. We want you to get these gifts. So you have to be a part of the Facebook group, because your mock draft has to be in before 6 o'clock on draft day, which is April 27th. So you have all this time up to 6 o'clock on the 27th to get your mock draft in. If you are 603, guess what? You shit out of luck. If you are 601, SOL, that don't mean same old Lions. That means shit out of luck. So you have to be in before 6 o'clock, because all comments will be shut off on that thread. So that way we know who is actually participating, who is the guys that are going to be, who are going to be going for this Apple Watch. If we have guys that have the same player, you guys are going on that wheel of spin. Y'all going on that Lions wheel. The wheel will decide your fate of who gets this watch. Also, that very first pick, you guys will be getting a Lions jersey of that player. So if it's Carter, if it's Gonzalez, if it happens to be Will Anderson, CJ Stroud, whoever it may be, you will be able to receive a jersey of that player. So again, y'all, this ain't a game. Hey, are you guys not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Oh my God.
So folks, make sure you subscribe. That way you know when we go YouTube live. Again, I know I say that a ton, but it really is the easiest way. It comes right to your phone.
Yeah.
Says, hey,
Subscribe,
live,
look
check
at
it
the
out.
videos, look at the movies on that channel. Y'all can look at Billy Badass. You can see scenes of Captain Corpse. We have all different type of other podcasts and shows on the studio. Jump in, man. You'd be surprised what you find. It might be some shit you like.
In fact, as we close it out, I'm going to plug a show that started tonight on the YouTube channel. So you can actually go watch that episode right now. It is a series that I'm calling Movies That Move Me. As folks know, I'm a filmmaker, so I'm talking about the movies that made me want to be a filmmaker. Episodes are about 10 minutes a piece, and the first one just dropped 9 minutes ago while I was sitting here doing this. So, hey, go check that out on the YouTube channel. There's a playlist. It's called Movies That Move Me. And hey, get on there and talk about, whether you watched those movies, and if you did, if you liked them, if you hated them, let me know. That's
Hey,
one of the shows that
tell
Nate
them,
talks
add a
about.
comment. Give them some different movies to look at. Hey,
Right.
it might be one of your favorites that he's never even heard of. Give him something else to look
It's
at.
a
Give him
lot
some
of
different
movies that
content.
Elijah has not seen.
Hey, it's kind of small. It's not going to be a lot that he hasn't seen. So,
Oh, it's a lot.
So,
hey,
hey,
look, I never thought he would have seen Love Stinks.
Yes. So, hey, folks, here's what we're going to do. We're going to wrap it up right now. For Reggie Funches, for Nate Rucker, for the #1 Lions fan, Mr. Bobby Bless, for No Patricia, and for myself, Elijah Winfrey. Hey, be blessed out there. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. We'll see you on Thursday